Everyone, we got some really big news. The new season developer log is out. We're going to watch it. I'm just going to start.
Everyone's favorite Noxian frenemies, LeBlanc and Vladimir, plan, plot, and scheme. Now we're headed to Ionia to find the powerful weapon they've been seeking. But we're not just going to Ionia. We're arriving just
As
in
expected,
time for the bloom
Ionia.
of the rare spirit blossom flowers and the Ionian festival that
More
celebrates
roses, but they're
Spirit
spirit
Blossom
flowers.
is one of our favorite thematics, and based on what we've heard from you over the years, it's one of yours too. Also importantly though, it's a canon event in Runeterra, meaning that the festival takes place in Ionia with each bloom. Now with each season, we set out to create distinct thematic experiences that touch almost every aspect of League, from gameplay to skins, a new champion, to a metagame, for example.
I like it.
So for
yeah,
Season 2
not
of
too bad.
2025, we'll be continuing to refine our approach with many of these things and a few other surprises further out.
We do want to save bigger, more disruptive Summoner's Rift and gameplay changes for the start of each year, and then tune and iterate on those
So what are they
changes
gonna do with
throughout
Attic,
the year
Attic,
so that
Attic?
we're providing a more stable and competitive experience. That means for Season 2 this time, for example, we're putting our focus a bit elsewhere, a lot of it on game modes this time. We do, though, have some meaningful
no.
Summoners Rift changes coming this
Okay.
season still, and we're going to hand over to
I
Riot
trust.
Froxon now. We'll walk you through those next.
All right, give it to me
Hey
straight,
everyone,
Froxon.
today I want to
Hey,
talk
buddy.
a bit about the Summoner's Rift gameplay changes that are coming at the start of Season 2. We've heard your concerns about objective overload, so we have some changes that should help find a healthy balance, in addition to a few other adjustments we have coming for Spirit Blossom. First up, Articon. In Season 1,
Here
we
it
made
is.
changes to Articon's two forms, so you would see Voracious less often than Ruinous. And
Yes.
while we saw a good initial reaction to this change,
I've
we
never
still
seen
saw
it.
some frustration around how often Voracious Articon spawns in pro games and how game warping his buff is. So in Season 2, we're getting rid of Voracious Articon, and he'll have only one form, Thornbound.
Okay.
While
Finally.
he won't look different from Ruinous Articon, he will have adjusted rewards. In addition to the Bloody Roses, the team who kills Articon receives all unclaimed roses on the map, and all of their Bloody Petals are purified into Spirit Petals, which grant 25% increased effect. Additionally, the team will also get a spiritual purification buff for the rest of the game that slows and damages nearby enemies on champion kill, which we think will be a more satisfying effect.
That's insane.
Outside of Articon, we also have some adjustments for the Void objectives based on feedback we've seen around objectives driving game pacing, especially before the 20-minute mark. First, we're changing Void Grubs to spawn a single time, which will be a bit later in the game. This should allow everyone to focus more on laning and ganking, rather than prioritizing early objectives. We're
I like
also
coin
moving
flipping
the Rift Herald
objectives.
spawn time up to 15 minutes, and making
Okay.
it generally harder to avoid her damage. Another place we've seen a lot of feedback on is the bounty system. One of the main issues is that it sometimes feels like you have a bounty when your team is behind. So we're making the objective bounty system more accurate, which should help bounties feel like they're only on when your team has a lead. Outside of objectives and bounties, we're making a small change to the jungle and support roles. In Champion Select, only junglers will have access to Smite, and it'll be automatically assigned. Additionally, supports will automatically be given World Atlas at load-in. Our goal is to try and reduce certain types of trolling, and oops, my team doesn't have Smite lol, lock-in failures. We're adding the ability to swap roles in Champ Select, so you can still ask nicely to trade. And if you're an unsealed spellbook bard enjoyer, don't worry, you'll still be able to get Smite in game. We believe the ability to do this will discourage the pro play lane swap problem we saw in Season 1, without directly impacting the rest of us normies. Finally, we're replacing Gray Screen with a new Spectator UI, and adding killstreak sound effects that will play for your ears only when you participate in takedowns. We have a dev blog out now that goes into more detail
Look
about the
at this
gameplay
guy.
changes that you'll see when you load into the Rift at the start of Season 2, so be sure to check it out.
Hey everyone, I'm just a Capybara, a director of product management. You can call me True. League is at its best when you're surrounded by people who are positive and play their best. But when you have someone inting, griefing, or running it down for fun, it just sucks. So we're rolling out some updated systems that will better detect and punish people who want to ruin your games.
Starting next patch, we'll have improvements to our griefing detection systems that automatically identify and punish players for soft inting and trolling teammates.
Because some people just want to ruin games, we aren't going to share exactly what the system looks for. But it's built to detect things like running around and not contributing to avoid AFK detection, for example. Additionally, moving forward, when you receive report feedback, it will include the name of the offender, similar to how the cheating feedback notifications currently work.
Very nice.
We know that this is an area that we really have to get right. We've been doing some tests for the last few patches to make sure our number of false positives is low, and we're confident that we should see very few. We'll also continue to refine this updated system over time, and we'll talk about it again in another dev update.
Further out, there's more work we'd like to do around smurfing and boosting in particular. That's something that we hope TrueScale 2 can help address, which, as a reminder, is a new matchmaking system that we've been trialing in some regions and modes. We also want to share some numbers from the Vanguard LP refunds that we added in patch 25.6. As of filming, we've refunded over 700,000 LP to over 30,000 unique players who had a cheater in their ranked game.
And since then, around 24,000 cheaters have been successfully
eliminated.
That's a lot.
Aside from punishing players who waste your time by ruining games, we also want to take some time to thank all of you who bring positivity to League, whether it's through helpful and friendly comms, grouping for objectives, or just fist bumping each other after.
All right, so this is a lot to unpack here, and we should talk about it before we move into the other game modes. The changes to Atacon are kind of interesting. Obviously, there shouldn't be two modes of Atacon because, like, you never get the Ruinous one in any normal solo queue game. Even when I'm in high elo games, we never get it, right? The kill, in order to get that other form, the kills in the game have to be really low, and they're always really high. So it's nice that they're removing it. However, it's kind of weird that they're keeping the roses, considering that's kind of Noxus based, and they're adding in the spirit petals, which are even stronger now. And it takes everything on the map. So it sounds like Atacon is going to be really, really, really crazy. It's going to be crazy strong. But at the same time, right now I actually feel like the roses are the most important part of this boss. So, like, if somebody steals it, it's not a big deal. But with the new changes, it will kind of be a big deal. So, yeah, I kind of like the changes that we're doing with that. The Void Grubs are getting moved, which I kind of don't like. But it's okay, I understand. Like, if you're a mid laner, you don't want to be helping the jungler all the time. And also, like, when you're playing in high elo, every single game, you just have both supports going to the Void Grubs as soon as they spawn. Yeah, I get it. I guess I can get on board with that. I understand where they're coming from that. And then with the moving of the Rift Herald, it's kind of hard to know the Rift Herald timing if we don't know the Void Grub timing. 15 minutes is kind of like whatever. It's kind of fine, I think. The griefing detection was really, really, really needed. So I'm really happy that we're going to have some of that added to the game because people have just been really atrocious with that. But lately, I do feel like they've done a way better job of venting. Vanguard, yeah, we know how everybody feels about Vanguard. So it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, overall, pretty positive changes. I like where we're going with the new season so far. Let's get into the other modes.
And metagames. Like we've said before, we think it's important to consistently have ways to play League outside of standard Summoner's Rift. So, we'll be releasing a new game mode called Brawl.
Brawl is a 5v5 mode where you choose your champion, and it's played on a new map set in the whimsical Bandle City. And your objective is simple: push your minions into the enemy's base to win, and get rid of anyone who tries to stop you.
No towers, no major objectives, and nothing but your base's health bar to defend. Brawl is intended to be a fun, action-packed mode for players who want a lower stakes game or are looking to get their friends into League without having to deal with all the complexity of SR.
Now, games of Brawl have been balanced with snowball mechanics, so while you might be down at some points, you're never truly out, making it perfect for playing with friends of drastically different skill levels.
Whether you're just looking for a fun time trying to play with friends or just want non-stop action, we hope you'll give Brawl a try when it goes live in patch 25.10. We can't wait to see what you think.
Now, if you want to learn more about Brawl, check out the new dev blog that's out now. Separately, though, we also want to take a moment to talk about metagames. We're coming off of the Demon's Hand, and we love seeing all the combos you pulled off, and that's also teaching us a lot about what has and hasn't worked with metagames that we're going to incorporate in future ones.
We will have another metagame coming out in Act 2 of the coming season. As with previous metagames, we're going to keep trying something a bit different each time. All right, we'll hand things over to the Skins team to talk about what they...
I don't know what metagames are, but the Brawl mode looks pretty fun, and... yeah, I already saw some of the Spirit Blossom skins here. I'm sure they have some things to talk about with the skins, with Lux as well. Bro, what are they wearing?
Blossom, when we were looking at skins for Season 2 overall, we took a lot of learnings from Season 1.
I just, honestly, I'm not, like, super interested in the skins here, you know? I'm just going to skip over it for now. Let's hear the
Play is
outro.
now out globally, so be sure to jump in and play a few matches if you haven't already had the chance.
And while you may have recognized quite a few familiar faces in yesterday's cinematic, there is one who may look new. Yanara is our new champion who will be coming out in Act 2. We don't want to spoil more, but we'll be back before then to share more about her and her connection to the Spirit Blossoms.
And then finally, we wanted to share that in May, we'll be celebrating another pro who has made his mark on League. This player will join the Hall of Legends. He's inspired the next generation of upcoming players, and we can't wait to give him the recognition he deserves.
As always, thanks so much for watching.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting devlog. I think they've come action-packed with a lot of changes. I'm not going to waste too much of your time. I already gave my opinion there. How do you guys feel about the new season that's coming up? I think it's pretty fun, and well, we'll just have to see. I'm glad that they're making some new changes. You got to keep in mind, League of Legends is like a 15-year-old game, and the fact that we're still getting updates is just absolutely wild. I think they're doing a good job, despite all the crap they get, except the Vanguard. I don't know why they did that, but it is what it is. It is what it is.